And council has looked at it in the past, talked with people like Matthew Cooper and said, hey, no. Auckland has done some of that. Maybe that is an area in which you said no, if that's what you do. Councillor Shannon.
Thank you, Your Worship. First of all, who wrote the activity review paper?
Mrs. Gady.
Mrs. Gady. Okay, so this is the first story that I've actually seen this. Is this a late agenda item? Where does it come from? Because all of a sudden I didn't even know that I had these on my table for a start.
Members, we asked for members' information requests to be sent in early prior to council meeting so officers could respond to them.
Right.
So this is the members' information request on the
Okay,
news
all
system.
right. Well, I haven't had time to read it, so I can't make a decision on this at the moment. I need to have a look at it and read it and think about it. We've got the information now. Perhaps a report can come back to council for it officially to decide, because I actually need time to digest it. And the fees and charges have, as I said, already been passed, or as Worship said, have already been passed. If we were of a mind to amend it, how would we do that? Just for clarification of my please?
So, through you, Your Worship.
Yeah.
The fees and
Because that would be the whole fees and charges we have to redo.
Just that section, we just have to notify that section, and that's open for work to consult on that.
Right.
It will effectively be a notice of motion.
The only.
So, okay, so that's it.
And we're only talking the season pass because the preschool charge 50 cents actually does apply to Tiara, although that is incorrect in the fees and charges, but that has already been passed. So it's just a right.
So thank you for that. So I've got this information, I can go away and read it and think about it, and I would like to see that it either stays on the table and we have a report come back in the future, in the next agenda or something like that. Because I haven't read it, I don't
So effectively,
want to make a decision on something that I'm not.
effectively, Councillor McGill would be a notice of motion that, okay, you've received this and that it be a 10% hearing. As you notice of motion, it doesn't require to be a seconder, but it then would, its catch is that I don't know if you went that way, it becomes difficult because you have a notice of motion that you then have to discuss. It is a change of policy. Mr. Hobbs, and of course that means we don't get it till January, and that means the world is...
The summer will be over.
Yeah, and that makes the summer over, and I accept that. Yeah. But, to change the policy in terms of the 80-20, is that an area in which we don't? That, does anybody not have any requests for season passes we've had?
They generated. Oh, sorry.
Yes.
It's generated. So it would be subsidised, but if we did that with Tara and Tokoroa ratepayers would pick up the difference.
Oh, this will take place, I presume, I don't get the feeling that whatever you did for T-Rail, you'll be doing for Taru. The T-Rail school is decile 5, the Taru school is decile 1. The social index for T-Rail is a lot higher than it is for Taru, so I guess you'll be doing the same for Taru and T-Rail. You wouldn't be saying T-Rail is a poorer community than Taru. That doesn't stack up.
Picking up, please, if I can just continue with Councillor McGill, and thank you for bringing it to our attention, because so a couple of the comments that you made about Tiara people are of modest circumstances and large families, that's no different to the rest of the community as well. And just I asked a question about it is general rated, so if we do that, it will be subsidised by the Tokoroa residents if we do that for Tokoroa and Taru. So, I mean, and I guess it's a fairness thing. So what's wrong with the concession, through you, Your Worship, if I can? The concession cards.
Can I respond there?
Yeah,
the season pass is available at Tokoroa, I think it's $720. So what the board's saying and people are saying, that's for 97.5 hours a week. Tokoroa pool's only closed 3 or 4 days a year. There's a limited season in a cold pool, like can't imagine the temperature go up to 26 degrees. But it's a limited season, and the cold, relatively cold pool with much less facilities available. And the hour, so when you talk about a season ticket, here you can have one and go virtually every day of the year apart from Christmas Day and a couple of others. There you can only go sort of between December. So that's where the 10%, based on the usage percentage.
So our staff calculate that at 20%, but I take Councillor Wiggins' points we should calculate that at 20%.
Just to review, the 20% actually came out of the request directly from the TR Community Board. We believe season pass at 20% of the cost of the annual course pass is not appropriate this year. So we actually reflected on what the TR Community Board asked, and we believe that 20% is a fair representation.
So if I put that in context, that's $144 for a family seat concession pass for the season.
Okay.
Please, Councillor, please. Next,
I
Councillor.
do remember back when we were debating the people in charge, particularly about the TRAP, the biggest reason why we actually withdrew that family concession was because of, it was being abused. So one of the first steps we had to do if we're going to reinstitute it was actually stop the abuse of that family pass, because that was, to me, the biggest reason why we actually withdrew that, because it was being abused by all and sundry, from what I can remember.
Wouldn't that happen across the board if there's abuse?
No, it's a counter system, but it didn't take place in Tauranga, but there wasn't one.
No.
And in Tauranga and here, in Takarara, it is certainly monitored, you know, without. Councillor Van Roy.
I feel exactly the same as Councillor Shepherd. This paper came and I confess I'm unable to read and listen at the same and make decisions at the same time. We have decided in the past we are not going to make ad hoc decisions, and to me this would be an ad hoc decision. We haven't had time to consider it. As I say, we have decided we are not going to take ad hoc decisions. There are many more considerations. The 80-20 policy, I think, was considered at length. That was the policy we came to. So I'm in favour of getting a full report on this and considering it with all the knowledge and staff comments on it.
Other councillors, please. Councillor
It's a matter that's been raised by the Deputy Mayor and Councillor, which I think needs to be spoken for now. That is that on the 24th of November, the application was made for a members' information request. That's 10 or 11, 12 days ago. And attached to that was the same paper that you're looking at for the first time today. So actually, and I was told it was too late to have it actually tabled in the agenda because the agenda had already been tabled, even though it was the 24th of November. It was closed. And so, in my opinion, this should have been circulated a week or so ago.
Richard, I just want to make a comment if I can, please. I'm not averse to the idea. Absolutely, I'm not. And I think that it perhaps could have merit, but I actually haven't worked it through in my head. So I just want to reassure you, I'm not throwing it out absolutely. There probably is merit in it, absolutely. But I just haven't thought about it, and I'm saying with Councillor Van Roy, reading and hearing, listening at the same time.
There is a policy thought. Councillor, please.
Just in terms of the swimming pools we've got in the district, we probably do need time to digest this and have a think about it, because I think a season pass for swimming should apply to every pool in the district. You should have a season pass which entitles you to go to Tokoroa, Tarara or Tirau. You can have concession passes which are just local ones. But if you're in the South Waikato and you buy a season pass and you've got a horrible day in Tirau, you can come down and use the covered pool here. I don't think there's any need to have all these divisions on a season pass, but other forms of concession are different.
I guess the difference there, as merit in your idea, the catch is that for those in T-Rail or Taru, it's a defined shorter season, and if you bought that season pass there for $100, would you then be able to come through for the rest of the year on that season pass instead of Tokara?
Well, probably slightly different. You buy a season pass which entitles you to any pool in the district, and if you set a price at that, for that pass for people that are just going to have casual use either on a concession card or single visits, then that's the charge of the local pool. But just an idea to make it more.
It becomes very
district-wide.
complicated because if I bought a season pass for Tokara for $700, would that enable me to decide to go, because it's too hot in the middle of summer, I want to go for a cold swim in the Taru?
Yes, yes, that's what that's
Well,
what I think.
so it would go that way, but not coming back that way out of the season. I mean, it is there. The answer may well be that if you got rid of the 80-20, you say everybody's doing for nothing. Then it's all general rate.
And your worship, that was exactly what I was going to pick up on, is that you suggested, but we haven't really thought about that, and there could be merit in that we do have free entry into the pools. So that would mean we would have to relook at the policy and relook at, just the expectation of what comes in on all the pools. It would end up being more on your rates if we did decide to do that. But do we need to have a look at the whole big picture rather than just as an ad hoc like this? And I think maybe we
I
do.
think we do. I think the important thing is to have children swimming and
Yeah.
learning how to avoid drowning. So that's number one priority.
Now, recognise, councillors, that you're now coming to this when we discussed all
I
the
know.
fees and charges.
I know we did.
Now, this is the area in which none of us here raised those concerns and fees and charges. And again, we've just been talking about communications. And does that mean that we actually, as Councillor Lee said, we had set of use we were getting rid of? We did that back in a meeting in June, 6 months ago. That's when we all passed it to the full council meeting, and we passed it all back in June, as we said, this was our policy for the new year. You know? So, maybe we don't always read it all and look at it and
No,
say,
maybe we're allowed to change our minds.
maybe we're allowed to change our minds. Councillor, yeah.
Thank you.
So, in change of policy, I have a time concern that we are changing the policy almost ad hoc because we're saying we don't need the 80-20. I'm also conscious that by the time next council meeting is, summer's over, and what do we do in terms of that? Mr. Hobbs?
Can we make an interim measure just for this year, or? I haven't read it, I can't say, sorry.
So there is a problem that you wish time to
What time?
review this. Do you wish therefore to consider, we have a motion before it has come from that it be a 10% area. Mr. Councillor Bill has moved that we consider option 2, but it'll be a 10% reduction.
Can we do that? It's not
No,
an
no.
official good
He
thing.
has done it, but it hasn't been a seconded motion, and I'm questioning how to actually handle that change of policy and where we do as an interim measure.
It's really your wish, I think that we would have to, if council determined this is what you want, I think it would be subject to us working through the consent process. So we need to follow due process in terms of changing fees and charges at this interim stage. So you're basically giving us the heads up that you want us to proceed with that. We can do that, and then based on feedback, come back to you.
I can't get back until I have a council meeting because something's almost finished. So